So how are you?
And I'm recording. Hi guys, greetings from Kerpen, Germany. And as you can see, I'm not alone in this video. I have a very beautiful, very exotic looking in this dress with a cute fan, Justine. And I think she will tell a little bit more about what she does. I can only give you a hint that today you will have two international matchmakers who actually professionally spread love through all the borders and who strongly believe that love knows no borders and no nationalities. So can you tell a little bit more about global matchmaking? What do you do? And perhaps how we have met?
Oh, sure. Hi, Svetlana. I feel for you. I don't know, this is going to be, you're going to do some edit, but I just want to say that I am so glad that you're safe. And with all the world's what's happening, we strongly believe that if the world, even like one or two crazy people running around on the planet, we can still find a love. We shouldn't really forget about how strong the love is. So hope you'll, eventually all of us will have a peaceful place. So that's the beginning. So I'm Justine, and I'm currently in Hawaii. It's all started off living in Japan, in Tokyo. Started off doing like marriage consulting for Japanese elite singles. So those people who have lived on a company assignment and overseas have the hardest time finding their local match. And, just like if you have lived abroad, when you go back into your town, you have a hard time meeting someone that you feel a connection with. So I decided that I want to help out the global citizens to find each other. So I have been helping single global citizens for love and marriage for the past 20 years almost. And I've met a lot of couples who live abroad, and I've been so blessed with, being able to work together with wonderful clients and wonderful people, very unique, and they just need to have some point to be able to introduce. Those are the people who you don't see on the apps or online dating. So I do all the groundwork, and I reach out to work together with someone like you, someone I know I can trust and rely on. All the matchmakers that I met in the past years to help facilitate finding the person that they feel connection with. So all my clients are basically truly borderless. They're like really open to meet someone outside of their own culture, country, language. Basically, they have lived international life, so they hope to be able to meet someone similar. So now I connect them. A lot of the times that the clients come to me, they have been dating with this particular person for like 2-3 years, just as he got like a promotion to run the office overseas. His girlfriend decided not to want to come. So, it's just a lot of heart-aching stories that I hear among the oldest wonderful clients. So I help to find someone who's open to relocate, go to different countries, and not afraid of building the family together there. So that's what I do, and I've been so blessed, and then I'm so grateful that we have a chance to work. Svetlana and I sometimes work together. We can even connect people completely outside of our network. I just matched someone an American guy who lives outside of United States to meet someone in Eastern Europe, and things are going really well, and things like that. The people who don't live in their own country is someone that I help. So that's what I do.
We have met in New York, but you have singles, and you work with clientele who are in Western Europe, in Eastern Europe, in the East, in the West. Can you share some peculiarities, as you see it, in introducing clients who are Japanese and live in Japan, and American clients who live in the United States? Do you see the differences? I'm sure you see many.
Well, for example, Japanese guys tend to want to meet Japanese women. So even if they're living abroad, many of my Japanese male clients want to find someone who understands how to make a miso soup, how to have a Japanese breakfast, and have a common language. It's surprising, but a lot more these days, after this COVID, a lot of people have tried to meet local people online. Even as a Japanese guy started to reach out, to someone local, who's completely different background from where he's from, to want to start building the family. And for Americans, or maybe let's say like a Westerners, they tend to have lived abroad outside their countries more than 6 months. And many have very diverse background, where they have married to someone from their own country. They have done international marriage before, and they're also interested in a different culture and language and so on. Those are the kind of typical people that are reached out to us. So it's I don't know how I can classify how those people can be, because majority of Pacific Match clients are more very international minded. They don't really care where she lives or where the person is currently located. They think they can travel to meet in person, and they can work out the things from there. That kind of mentality. They're just really open for any possible opportunities, because they've done the local and they really kind of failed. I mean, they just didn't get a chance to meet the right person. So with us, we connect these kind of people to get a new idea of a perspective of life, which is I guess your clients as well, isn't it?
Yes, I was listening to you and I was thinking that at Diolli we work with a very similar type of clientele, but international dating, it is very niche. And on our YouTube blog, I always repeat like mantra that international dating is not for everyone. And if we're talking about, for example, Ukraine, of course, prior to February 24, we did lots of local matchmaking. And till now, we have many clients with Slavic background, or people from Ukraine, from Kazakhstan, from Russia, who have relocated years ago, and they want to date someone who has similar mentality. This is one group of clients with whom we work, because the majority of people, they want to date someone who, like you have mentioned, knows how to cook local breakfast, can understand jokes. For example, in Germany, there is a huge diaspora of Ukrainian Jews. So you have to be not only Ukrainian, but also Jewish. So they want to date someone who is a Ukrainian Jew, such a tiny pool. So clients who are truly open-minded to meet someone who represents a totally different culture, who speaks another language, who will teach you how to cook breakfast another way, or how to celebrate other holidays. Such people, they are truly unique, and I believe you and I, we are lucky to work with such clientele. I was thinking about our Japanese male client, and he said that he was married to a Japanese woman, but then he told her, like, let's move to Europe, let's live in Europe for a year or for a year and a half, and let's till we don't have kids, let's travel. And he said that she was miserable in Europe. She missed Japan. She didn't speak the language, and they had to break up, unfortunately. So he was looking for someone with similar mindset, someone who would be open to live in Paris, to live in Amsterdam, to relocate to Germany, to work remotely, to learn the languages. Since I understand Japan is quite a traditional country, so not all Japanese men are like that. Same with Ukrainian women. When I hear the stereotype that all Slavic women want to marry an American, and I have to tell them, no, you will be surprised how many ladies we have to interview till we find someone who actually is open to the concept of international dating and who is open to the idea to relocate to the US, because we have Europe here, and it's like ridiculously close. You can drive back home, you can fly back home, and mentality is more similar than, for example, in the US. So it's definitely not for everyone. Let's talk about benefits of international dating. So, of course, you can expand your pool of search. You can learn other ways to cook your breakfast. What else?
Well, they definitely open up the horizon. You know, you get, I mean, especially if you love the different culture, I mean, the whole new world's opened up. And then, you know, of course, you're learning how to speak the language. And then that kind of, you know, opens up even more. So, like, you get to watch like a TV show that's beyond your own countries, and you have like a 3, 4, 5 different kinds of language TV shows to watch, or the movies,
I'm
or
sorry.
the magazines. Hello.
Olga, say
hello,
hi.
How are you? Hello.
Mama is working.
Sweet. And so, yeah, and then the food to learn, and you have instant relatives, you know. I think it's good or bad, but you have a complete like set of a new relatives and neighborhood, and then also different way of doing things. It's just really exciting. Every day is a learning experience. I just highly, I mean, I love, you know, being with international community, because it's not what I'm saying that, you know, Japan or my own culture is boring. I mean, it's just more familiar. And some of my clients come to us and say like they don't want to be with their own country woman because you know, they're too familiar. Maybe, you know, it's a generalization, but I mean, I somehow understand where things are coming from. If I were to look for a Japanese man, I would be really familiar, you know, and about what to expect. And I'm sure there's certain, you know, people who are different, but in general, you know, you kind of think about like how you want to have opportunity to learn, because that's where you're coming from. Like you're curious, you're adventurous, you know, you're open to learn something new. If you're like, the life is adventure and like life journey, like why not to experience something that's beyond what you're used to know from your kind of, you know, parents. So you get to keep it too, you know.
I was thinking, well, listening to you about 2 examples. One, we had a client, he was from United States, and a young gentleman in his late 20s, but he is extremely well traveled, and he lived in different countries. He worked in IT, and he studied abroad, and he is very cosmopolitan, and he said that, you know what, the majority of girls I was meeting in my area, they have never left their state. So when I start talking to them, for example, about Lithuania or Estonia in Central Europe, they are asking if it is in Texas. And he said that I was bored to death and I wanted to date someone with whom I can talk about different countries and who won't look at me like I'm crazy if I suggest that we go and live, for example, for a year in Canada or in Central Europe. So, of course, it was hard to imagine this client dating someone who has never been abroad or someone who doesn't want to learn other foreign languages. And another story that I was thinking of, we have introduced a couple, and the gentleman, he's Swedish and they live in Stockholm, and they use English at home. Now they have 2 kids. We have matched them, I think, 9 or 10 years ago. And she's fluent in Swedish now as well, but she said that kind of when they have started dating, they were speaking English, so she can't get used to her husband speaking another language at home. And she said that sometimes when she is tired, like 2 kids, or for example, she isn't happy with something, she wants to start a fight, but then she starts translating what she wants to say from Ukrainian into English and then into Swedish, and she thinks, okay, I don't want to fight. It's too complicated. And she said that they very, very occasionally fight. And of course, it's an exaggeration, but I believe international couples, they have way more fun. And what I have noticed when you speak 2 different languages, and for example, none of these languages is your mother tongue, like in this couple, her mother tongue is Ukrainian, his is Swedish, you have to be extremely careful with the selection of words that you are using to make sure that your partner actually understands you. And you have to become an attentive listener, because I have noticed that so often people speak the same language and they don't actually listen to each other. I have noticed it with our local clients who speak, for example, both Russian and Ukrainian. They don't listen to each other. And this is why there are so many misunderstandings. But when people speak different languages, you make an effort to understand your partner, and you're actually bothered to ask, I want to make sure like you have understood me correctly. Should I paraphrase? And they actually listen to what the other party has to say. And I believe it is very important for a relationship.
Yeah, I think it's just the basis of any good relationship. Start off with the respect, and just because you don't really fully speak the same language, you have to make an extra effort. I really agree with you.
I have a question. I know that you have been introducing couples, for example, from United States to Japan by Zoom, by Skype. How does it go? Because sometimes in the comments below our videos, a gentleman claimed that online dating is not real. Can you share the difference? Why it is different from online dating?
Like online dating, basically you do everything on your own, like from screening hundreds of profile informations, and then you start engaging in the conversation. You have to make a decision to, arrange to meet up on your own, and then you go through a series of it. And then I think, I often tell my clients this, or the people who I speak with, they, 1 in a millions, they get lucky to find each other. But a lot of people who just burn out and waste their maybe 3 to 6 months subscriptions, which is probably not a big deal for some people, but basically what you pay is what you get. Everyone start off with height, like a little bit taller, a little bit higher education, a little bit younger, and to kind of create themselves to be very desirable. So that's like how online dating or apps dating, they tend to kind of fail. Whereas for using a matchmaker, during this past 3 years with a very restrictive travel, couples that we set up. I mean, basically, I screen everyone online, and then just to verify what they say is true. And then also all my clients, I vet, ask them to give me all this documentation. I even ask for passport, driver's license pictures, and tax returns. If the person's divorced, I want to see the divorce decree. And if there is any official statement that he can provide that being single, I would want to see that. And if the person says I'm a doctor, lawyer, and anything with a specific profession, I will want to see the certificate. And we start off with lots of kind of verification process, and then do the same with the ladies, because these days apps beautify the face. So guys are like really visual, so they of course tend to want to go after the same girls. And it just waits for the girl as well, because as long as she posts a fake picture, she'll probably not gonna have a right guy to start dating. Whereas we, like matchmakers, I will have to check up on that on his behalf. The face and picture matches or not, and then the backgrounds, what she says has to be true. And then I ask for, we often ask for like a documented proof about age and where they live and what they do. So you have to start off with kind of no lie policy, because everyone wants to look nice in view of somebody else's, but it's just not the way to start anything, because that's what makes us different from online dating.
I agree with you for 100%. You're talking and I'm nodding all the time.
Yeah, because in this COVID, there's a couple, just a few weeks ago, this couple met each other for the first time after communicating each other for over year, maybe 15 months. And they spoke to each other every day. They did a video a few times a week. They made an effort because they had like a very strong connections. And then they had to meet in person, so they came to Hawaii. And they were going to have to kind of bring the kind of virtual into reality. So I was like really worried, like, oh, what if he smells, and what if he's like really not up to her standard, because she's like really gorgeous, beautiful lady that she would have a choice, didn't have to be one of my clients, who's but then he was just so sweet, honest, gentle, kind, and smart, everything that she looked for. And I kind of told him like, oh, let's, I know you guys are getting together for the first time, it's been like a virtual for 15 months, but the woman will be very fussy about the smell, how you look, or if you have like, what kind of clothes you have, or it's just gonna be that. So expect it, and maybe she's not. Let's hope she's not, but make sure to bring the clean set of clothes, and shave off your ear hair and nose hair, and tidy up your neck area so that you feel a little confident in yourself. So I had like whole list of checklist before he came over. And then he just said like, don't worry, I'm all okay. I've checked through everything, and then I think I'm ready to meet her. So it was good enough. And then they had such a great time. I think it's some couple, there's another set of a couple, like Asian couples. They met in Europe, just as in the springtime. After, how many months, like 13 months of communicating each other on Zoom every single weekend and texting every day. And they were like building up to be really exclusive to each other. So they met. They both made a business trip out of their own country when Europe was much easier place to enter and to conduct the business. So they met, but that didn't work out because they're still trying to work things out. But he had like very COVID hair. I just it was like he hadn't been in a like haircut for like months and months, and he had like all this nose hair, runny nose. I guess that's how he is in a normal circumstance, because he's more kind of researcher type. Like he's like really into focused on doing what he knows the best. He didn't really care about the clothes, how he looks, and like a sanitation point of view, because that's kind of important for women. So I think he never learned to pay attention to that. So he was all kind of shocking kind of appearance when she first saw him for the first time. But then she gained the consciousness, saying that, okay, well, this is something that she may be able to correct or like help him to get cleaned up. I mean, he can go to the haircut or shave off his nose hair, ear hair, go shopping together to buy clothes that looks nice on him. So she kind of realized that there's something that she was expecting before was the Mr. Prince and the White Horse that was perfect, and he was more reality. So I think she's still, they're still in communication, but it's a kind of little bit of a step back a little bit from like moving forward point of view. I think it's a little bit slowed down, but I think they're getting together to meet again in a couple more months time and then so I think they are starting to talk about the different kind of subjects, about more realistic things like where they live and how they want to raise the children, or what kind of school that they should give their children if they have a children. They're kind of more like realistic stuff. So hopefully they'll be as successful couple as the others. So that was the COVID time. But now things are moving forward.
I was thinking about a couple that we have set up. A gentleman, he actually is from Germany, and he works in IT, and he's a nice guy in his late 30s, and we have set him up with a lady. And I think it was their first vacation together. They went for a first weekend, long weekend together, and we went to, it was like swimming pools with some activities, and she saw his feet, and she said that like he never had a pedi, and his feet, she said that it was disgusting. And I have talked to her, our psychologist has talked to her, and we said that, you know what, like you're looking for a guy, write all the qualities that you like about him. And she said that, yes, he's cute, he's kind, he's attentive, he's very smart, very intelligent. And I said that you can schedule spa together. You can go there, and then out of a sudden you can suggest that let's go and do pedis together. Probably has never heard about it. Like he is male and he has never been married. And I was right. They went to spa. She has booked beforehand those 2 appointments. And she said that he was so happy during that procedure. He loved it. He said that, oh, he didn't even realize that people are doing it. He saw that it was only for women. And we are looking forward to an engagement. They are officially a boyfriend and a girlfriend. They are dating. So when people say that it is what we do is very similar to online dating, no, we can actually look at the whole situation and see how we can fix it. Because sometimes people really have to slow down with their list of expectations, looking for someone who would be perfect. Yes. Sometimes people do mistakes. Not so long ago, we have introduced a gentleman to a lady by Zoom, and I had a long conversation with her. Our psychologist had a long conversation with her that a Zoom date is a date, so get ready, have your headphones, look nice, and you know what? She has started talking to him while working on the street without headphones. Why people are doing it? And she didn't realize that it was important when you start talking to her and start explaining how it made the other party feel. She said that I had no idea. I thought that I would be just natural walking down the street talking to him. No, because all the sounds, it interrupts and he feels that he is not important to you. So a matchmaker can do a lot. A matchmaker can do a drastic change.
Yes, we do give a lot of tips of how to make a really good impression, because the impression, like, first meeting is everything. It's everything that really is the most important part of our service, is that the first impression. So even no matter how nice you are, you don't know how to show that on like in the first 5-10 minutes of the conversation, and you know another person won't get that, then it ends. It's a very strange game. That's why, like, we also prep the both party and then say, like, okay, well, let's not talk about the past relationship, because this is like a fresh ground for you to start something fresh. There's a lot of times people want to know everything about past, like why this wonderful person is still single. That's what they want to know. And then I said, like, that's not the most important thing. It's the most important part of it, of all this first meeting, is to, you know, get the feel of the person, not about the past. You know, past is just way gone. Everyone has a past, just like yourself. You know, the things didn't work out for some reasons. Everyone's got the reason that didn't work out. But now, focus on now is the way to go forward, because, you know, a lot of people don't just listen to that. They always end up talking about ex-partners, ex-wife, ex-husbands, and they end up just comparing themselves with it. I mean, they're the one who asked for it, but, you know, at the end, they'll just, you know, be negatively living with it. So those are kind of things that happens on the just apps and online dating if they're on their own. But we facilitate so that, you know, everyone has a different perspective. I mean, they don't have to repeat the same mistake again with us. So that's like a really, I think it's, if I were single, I would definitely use a matchmaker.
I was thinking the same thing, and I already, after going to all these conferences in New York several times, I was already thinking that I know several great people. You're one of them, whom I would have in mind. Yes. I believe that we should stop this one and jump into another, because it is getting long, and we want our subscribers to listen to it till the end. I just want to add that if you want to learn more about international dating, and if you have a specific question to Justine, you can see how to find her, and I will also leave the link to her website or Facebook, whatever she will be willing to share with you guys, and you can contact her If you have specific questions about international dating, or you have a topic for a video in mind, please feel free to share it in the comments below this video. And please don't forget to press like, because I know that sometimes people are watching videos and they forget to do it. By pressing like, not only you show that you like this format, but also you will give this video more exposure, and people who really need to find out more about international dating will be able to actually come across it. So we will wish everybody love, and I will stop this one, and I guess we will jump into the next one.